Hello, everyone. My name is Calvin Bell III, and welcome to my YouTube channel entitled Descartes' Little Secrets. Today, we will be focusing on Descartes' meditations, specifically Meditation 4, entitled Truth and Falsity. And so, as we begin, I ask you an important question. Have you ever been wrong about something that you were sure was right? An example is getting someone's name wrong when you thought you called them by the correct name, or raising your hand to answer a question and then getting it wrong. If you can relate to this, you have committed what Descartes calls errors. In Meditation 4, Descartes ponders why he is subject to errors if his entire being has come from an all-perfect God. Thus, the dilemma we encounter is if we are subject to human errors and an all-perfect and powerful God makes us, then how are we still subject to these errors? And so Descartes puts our life as thinking beings into perspective by placing us in the middle of a spectrum with an all-perfect God at one end and nothingness or non-existence on the other. And so I'm going to share my whiteboard and show you exactly what I'm speaking about. And so here we have a line. And we're going to call this our range. As you can see, I'm not the best artist, but we'll add some text here. And so on this end, we'll call this non-existence. And on this end, we'll call this God. And so we have non-existence on one end and God on the other. But in that very middle that Descartes talks about is us. We are neither one end or the other. We're just here. So I'm just going to table this and put us. And so this is the spectrum that he discusses and talks about. He says that the range signifies that we are not all perfect and powerful like God because we make human errors. However, we know that we also exist. So we are not non-existent. Therefore, according to Descartes, we are limited beings or finite, meaning we have life, but with this life comes errors and falsehoods. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but I hope that helps to kind of illustrate what Descartes is talking about when he says that there is a spectrum and we are directly in the middle of that spectrum. We are neither non-existent nor are we close or at an all-perfect God. So as I continue, you may be wondering why we must stay in the middle of this spectrum instead of moving closer to perfection without fully reaching perfection. Well, Descartes says that by inquiring about our mobility towards perfection, we negate the fact that we are finite beings, which means that we will never understand the creation of an all-perfect and powerful being. Another layer to this conversation is that although we are limited beings, why must our limitations lead to errors or the errors we commit? Thus, Descartes acknowledges that despite our limitations, there are two significant gifts God has given us: understanding on one end and free will on the other. First, let us define these terms. And so I'm going to pull up my whiteboard again to demonstrate this. And so Descartes says that when we define these terms, our understanding is what we know about the world around us through our capacity to learn new things. And so we have understanding. I'm gonna draw here a little globe to signify the things we know throughout the world. And then he says that while that is the definition of our understanding, our free will is our ability to act upon our desires. And so, free will. And here we'll put yes or no in big letters. And so, by having these two definitions, we can tell that Descartes says that our ability to understand is limited since we do not know everything, including the brightest minds such as Einstein and Stephen Hawking. However, our free will is infinite and not limited, since we can always choose between yes or no, as illustrated on the board, to act or not. And so, thank you for my trusty board. I will stop sharing now and continue on. And so, ultimately, Descartes shows that we experience errors and falsehood because our will supersedes our understanding. We act on limited knowledge, which makes us prone to human errors. An example is feeding a stray dog candy because it is hungry on the street, but not knowing that dogs cannot eat chocolate after I already gave it a Snickers bar. Although my intentions may have been pure, my lack of knowledge of what dogs can eat may have caused me to commit an error by accidentally killing the dog. And I know that is extreme, but it can happen. Thus, we must take what Descartes says to heart and apply them to our life. We cannot be so fast to act upon our wills, but rather abstain from making quick judgments on situations, especially when we have a limited understanding of them. Once we realize that we will see the difference between using our free will properly instead of acting on our will and then blaming God when we commit an error if we believe that He is our creator. I hope that was informative for you. It's just food for thought for today. A quick thing to take away for you. And so, welcome to my channel. I hope that you subscribe and join again and continue to learn about Descartes' little secrets. Peace.